The word I would like to consider in the specific difficult situation of COVID-19 is the word language. And this is because the language, and specifically technical legal terms, are particularly important in periods in which emergency had to be handled. But let me start by saying that, as everyone, I'm very grateful to doctors, nurses, and to all the healthcare workers who are currently at the forefront of the COVID-19 emergency. I'm a jurist and I'm staying at home. Staying at home is a duty, but it is a privilege at the same time in this period. But it might also be perceived as a sort of limit involuntary imposed on the role of jurist in this complex period of our history. I personally think that jurists do still have a role in this contingency, and that it is important to be aware of it. Jurists are professionals and social actors too, having words and the language as their main working tools. Since the period of the Roman Empire, on the European continent in particular, jurists have been creators and caretakers of the language of the law. Language is nowadays the main means of communication and information, and it is indispensable in the description of reality. And particularly in the new phenomenon of like COVID-19 pandemic and its terrible consequences, this event have concentrated in a very short period of time an urgent need of new terms and new words that are useful to describe and communicate events. These words are rapidly composing what the website, the press, and the public debates have already denominated the language of COVID-19. Some terms of these new idioms are and will probably remain harmless, because words like patient zero, lockdown, quarantine are by now part of our daily vocabulary. And one day, this word will hopefully have the same role as the one played by the brushstroke of color on a painting. So hopefully, they will simply be something like memories and image. But differently, other terms have juridical value and they have a relevance for a legal point of view. If we think, for example, about definition like people transmitting COVID-19, infecting others, spreading the virus, all these words imply intentional transmission and assign blame. So furthermore, not only words are means of communication, but more generally, they also belong to a wider matter concerning the power of the language to shape the reality. Probably the language has somehow the possibility to, the capacity to shape the reality. And for this reason, the World Health Organization, in cooperation with UNICEF, has recently published a document addressed to government, media, and local organizations containing recommendations on the use of language. And under the title Words Matter, the document recommends a proper use of words as words shape technical and popular language in the period of COVID-19 and also influence people's behavior. So the document underlined that using words like people transmitting COVID-19, infecting others, spreading the virus, creates the impression that those with the disease have somehow done something wrong or are less inclined to attend screening or testing or quarantine. In this contingency, I believe the jurist's role is that of guiding the use of COVID-19 language to the right direction, formally and informally. Formally, because one day, and hopefully soon, lawyers and judges will be back in courts. Law professor will return to classroom, and legislator in the law commissions. And in this context, COVID-19 words will officially become the language of case law, the language of teaching, and the language of the legislator. So, but jurists may also have to address the language informally, because we as jurists are somehow perceived by people like a professional who have a deep knowledge of the meaning of words and technical terms. Thus, when a jurist, even a young jurist, even a law scholar, even a law student, use COVID-19 language, his or her word may have a particular impact on people. So jurists can indirectly train people on COVID-19 language, also by spreading the message that words always matter. But let me add one more brief observation to conclude. Some legal concepts are particularly relevant in the legal field, like the well-known word duty. Duty is a concept representing one of the cornerstones of the Western legal tradition. However, in this difficult period, we have all experienced that doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers' outstanding performances and devotion go far beyond their duty. When the Civil Protection Department of Italy asked for 300 doctors to move as volunteers to the hospital of the regions having the highest number of COVID-19 cases, 8,200 doctors responded to the call. These wonderful volunteers did not respond to a duty, not in legal terms, but to their ethical sense, to an ethical duty. And for this reason too, I'm grateful from the bottom of my heart to doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers, because what they are doing every single day for us is not grounded in the law, but in the bottom of their heart.